What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Dontavious, aka DT, and today I'll be talking about how relying on yourself can cause burnout. I'm a professional high jumper. I'm currently training to make Team USA year in and year out, each year for the World Championship teams and also the Olympic teams that happen every 4 years. So let's get straight into it. So this was my first year as a professional athlete, and I honestly did a lot of things on my own. I made a lot of decisions that were my decisions that ultimately just affected the way I approached my first year of my professional career, from coaching, training partners, all these different things. And at the end of it all, I realized there comes a time when you just need somebody. You just need somebody there. You know, even if you know a lot about the event. I know I've been doing high jump for 9-10 years, but at the end of it all, you know, I realized, okay, it would have been nice to just have somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna go over a few of the things that I realized and noticed throughout this season, and this kind of stuff can apply to life. You know, teammates could be considered as friends, as, you know, partners, companions, people to be around, stuff like that. Coaches could be parents, bosses, people at work, etc. Like, sport applies to life. So we're gonna start with coaching. So this year I was solo. I didn't have a coach. That was my own personal preference because I had just graduated college and I was moving to a new area. So I didn't want to do long distance coaching, me personally. So I decided to be on my own instead of finding a new coach, because for me it would have been my third coach in 3 years going into the Olympic year. So I decided to stay on my own. I used all the knowledge that I had from my 5 years in college competing, and just everything else I had learned up to that point. So I used all of that to develop all of my sprint training, all of my weight training, and all of the above. Everything I used pretty much came from my head and everything that I wanted to do. And I ended up being successful. I was 25, I was ranked 25th in the world, I was 4th in the US. I had jumped a personal best of 7.5. I had qualified for Olympic trials. I had set myself up so very well just off of everything that I knew, everything that I had in my brain, and I developed programs, all this different stuff. And I was able to have a successful opening, you know, rookie season as a professional, and it was great. It was fantastic, you know. But there were times when, you know, where I was unsure of myself, especially early on. Like, I've had a coach for the last 5 years, or really the last 8 years. I've been doing sport. I'm like, okay, even if I didn't always have the best coach or something, maybe early on in my career, I still had somebody. So I was completely relying on myself. Sometimes you can feel like, dang, I don't know if this stuff is really gonna work, or if it doesn't work, it's all on me, and I'm gonna look like I didn't know what I was doing. And to myself, I didn't want to let myself down. You know what I'm saying? Like, would I have been better off trying to do this or do that? And it was just a lot to think about, but I just eventually had to trust myself and really just dive into it. So yeah, not having a coach this season, it was very freeing because I was able to see what works for me. I was able to use the things that I thought worked for my body. And I ended up being successful. The only thing that I didn't do this year that would have just been the cherry on top was actually make the Olympic team. You know, that would have been a cherry on top, considering I was solo this year. That would have been a cherry on top. And I did my best. I tried my hardest. And in those final moments when I was actually trying to make the team, I mean, what I needed more than anything was just some support. You know, and that was one thing I was missing because I had been doing it on my own all year, which caused a little bit of burnout, maybe physically, maybe most definitely mentally. But I feel like I was at the front door. I didn't make Olympic trials in 2021, so my goal was to really make it to the Olympic trials in 2024. I then even created the goal of wanting to be an Olympian, like pretty much at the beginning of maybe January, February, actually trying to shoot for that goal. So that was a goal of 5 months, you know. So I'm really looking forward to the future of what it looks like trying to pursue that goal over a 4-year period, over an 8-year period, like some people have. But yeah, guys, you have to find that support. You have to be willing to open up, and you have to be willing to try something new. You know what I'm saying? Like, me personally, I was afraid, and rightfully so. I mean, I had reason to be afraid. It was an important year for me, and I chose that route, and I have no regrets behind it. But did I learn from it? Yes, I did. I definitely learned from it. It's gonna make me better in the future, and I'm excited for that. So that's what not having coaches did for me. And another aspect I wanted to address was not having teammates, not having training partners. So since I wasn't training at the university or with anybody, I was literally out there running sprints by myself. I was out there high jumping on my own, like hardly ever having anybody even record me or see anything that I was doing. I had to truly rely on how I felt. Sprint, boom, 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 walk it back, sprint. These are all my workouts. Nobody's out there with me, nobody to push me. I'm really having to push myself and drive and drive and drive and keep myself going. Whether I got music going, checking the time, checking my Apple Watches, all this different stuff. Not having teammates around was different. Cause I've had teammates around my entire career. Like, even if they weren't, you know, even if they weren't good, I'm not just saying everybody has to be good, because I wasn't good for a large majority of my career. So it's like, it's still somebody there. You know what I'm saying? It's different being alone versus actually having somebody there, regardless of their level of talent, regardless of even what kind of person they are sometimes. It's like, it's somebody, it's a human being there with you on your journey, and y'all both working towards something. You know what I'm saying? It's not just you. So not having teammates this year was tough. It was rough. But like I said, at the end of it all, we still had a great year. We had a great year. 25th in the world, 4th in the US, this close to making the Olympic team. I mean, it was just a blessing. Jumped the PR of 7.5. It's like, you can't ask for more than what I had. But I'm so excited for the future of the structure that I will have. But I'm just bringing awareness for people who are trying to pursue something similar to me, and just the things that I noticed when I was on my journey in my rookie season as a professional, not having a coach, not having training partners, what that felt like, the experience, and how it affected me mentally and physically. You know, did I take a few steps back, or did I take a few steps forward? You know, at the end of the day, we saw my rankings went up, all these different things, my PRs went up, but how much higher could that have been had I been in a different situation? Those are things we would have never known. That's one thing we will never know. You know, it's just, that's the system. That's the system. There's not too many opportunities out here for professional track athletes. It's just not. It's just not. And that's the tough thing about it. When people graduate college, you're either gonna stay at a university and train, or go overseas, or try to find some pro coaches, which there aren't many at all. And that's just that's the way the track and field world is in America. So we just got to keep pushing through it and trying to find good situations for us. But that was a teammate situation. Now let's talk about agents and coach and athlete representatives. So for y'all that don't know, like, as a professional, you usually have an athlete representative / agent to get you into competitions and meets. So this year, 2024, I didn't have one of those. So when it came to getting into meets, I had to email meet directors on my own and just try to get into the meet, whether they'll accept my personal record, my best, and let me into the competition. And they usually let me in, which was great, because I had a solid personal best and a solid world ranking at the time. But yeah, not having an agent, not having somebody to manage your career, I didn't know the importance of it, because it was my first year. You know, I'm like, okay, what all do I really have to do? What all do they do? You know, and I didn't know how to find one or get in touch with one. You know, I was asking around to different coaches and stuff, but some people couldn't even point me in the right direction, because the system, you know what I'm saying? Like, they can't even point you in the right direction sometimes and try to get you set up right. So I had to suffer that, but I ended up acting as my own agent this year, getting into different meets, getting into B-rank meets. Like, there are different levels of meets, getting into great meets, finishing top 3 in them, and just had a great experience with that, because I was able to get my, usually when they invite you to a competition, they pay for everything. So I got that experience, which was great. And yeah, I understand some of what an agent or athlete representative do, but I definitely recommend trying to get that support so you can have somebody else managing your career. So, like I said, like I talked about burnout earlier, as you can see, all these different things are all different things that I'm worried about. It's all on my mind, the mind of one man, Dontavious Hill, from coaching, right in my weight training, my programs, my nutrition, my recovery, all of that. Teammates, don't have any teammates. Got to focus on pushing myself at the track by myself every day. Nobody recording nothing, no high jumping, just literally just me. Get into competitions. Nobody managing my career. Literally me emailing multiple meet directors, trying to get into different competitions, trying to see if they're gonna make it compensated for me, so I don't have to pay out of pocket, and trying to find this hotel to get to this meet, and all these different things. That's on one person. You know what I'm saying? Instead of that being coach, multiple teammates, athlete representative, plus the team that's with the agent slash athlete representative that can help. All of those people working together as a village to help one person. So I live with that. When I was going through it, I didn't really feel some of that pressure at times. I was just like, this is just my life. This is just my life. But I'm realizing now I didn't have to accept those circumstances. Now moving forward, I'm not accepting those circumstances. And like I said, this video is about burnout, and maybe I burnt out towards the end. Maybe I didn't. But one thing I do know is, in the end of it all, I gave it my best effort with everything I had left. Everything else I had left, I gave it my best effort. In the end of it all, I ended up no-hiding at Olympic trials, which was my second time ever no-hiding in my career. I had no-hided the week before that in Canada. I attempted 7'8", which was a world record opening height. And like, okay, if I no-hide there, cool. Like it was a world record opening height. I did my best. But no-hiding at 7'2", 6 inches below that bar, a bar I had gotten many times. I was very confused. I was distraught. I was just in a bad mental space and just confused as to why that happened. But I just learned that I just can't question God's plan. I was just disappointed, and I've been moving forward from that since, and I'm excited for the future. LA 2028 and wherever we're going in 2032, I can't wait to attempt to make those teams, and if I'm still healthy and good enough to jump, and I'm 2036 as well, and all these world teams in between. But guys, make sure in whatever you're doing, in whatever part of your life, whether you're still in high school, middle school, you're a grown person working, make sure you have different levels of support, and don't let everything be on just you. Because in the end, there's gonna come a point where the glass is gonna overflow and it's gonna be too much for you. Whether it shows in your performance, whether it shows in your mental, your emotional, how you're treating people, eventually something is gonna show somewhere, and it won't be good. So make sure you're managing all those different things so that you can be the best person that you can be. And I'll make sure I do the same as I continue to learn and grow. I'm 24 years old. I'm gonna keep learning and growing, and I'm gonna keep sharing things that I know just to help y'all. So thank y'all for tuning in. My name is Dontavious Hill. I create content to help track and field athletes and all athletes and just people who want to better themselves in life, because that's one thing I'm trying to continuously do, just better myself. And thank y'all for tuning in. We out of there.